And 27, there's no option to RP walk in throne.
Addressing the real issues that players have with Throne and Liberty right here, guys. This is truly the boob slider and then no RP walking is really, I think, what a lot of players struggle with in Throne. Throne and Liberty, 1 month later, what changed? Keep in mind, he apologized last time he made a video for DMO.
About 1 month since the Throne of Liberty early access release, and so far I've sunk over 200 hours into the game. After my initial review, I joined one of the top guilds on my server. Shout out to Varangi and Guard on Stormbringer JP. I've participated in multiple GVG Riftstone events, done a bunch of arena, been to every world boss, farmed every open world dungeon, did lots of dungeon PvP, and as of making this video, I've got 2 max level characters, one sitting at 3.5k gear score, and my ult, which is around 2650.
Bro, relax. What? He has a 3,500 gear score player, and then he has an ult, which is fully leveled, already 2,600 gear score. Almost 2,700. What the
gear score. So at this point I think it's fair to say that I have a full understanding of the game, which is why this video will be a bit of an addendum to my previous review. Actually, looking back, that review was pretty spot on. The only mistakes I think I made was that 1, you can actually turn off the UI in photo mode, it's just a different keybind.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I thought you could. 2,
I completely oversold the character creator and said it has all the sliders, when in fact it's missing the most important one, the boob.
You know it. I know it. We all know it. So true. So true. Yo, you call me a coomer all you want. That's why I commented on the previous video. No boob slider. It is noticed. The players want the boob slider. Let's just get straight to the point. That's right, chat.
Slider, which was removed to appease a global audience. My bad on that.
No, it was not removed to appease a global audience. The global audience wants a boob slider. Okay? It was removed to appease the politically correct Karens that think that ugly characters should be represented in video games. I'm just saying it how it is. Okay?
That one, I played him.
It's bullshit. Add the boob slider back to the game. Even though, bro, even if you're a female, I have at least 4 females in my audience right now. Females love playing attractive characters. Females want to play the big ass badonkadonk, torpedo titty, super hot Dark Knight. Okay, they don't want to play some ugly ass character. Okay, women love it. Guys love it. Everybody loves it. Okay? There should be an option. All right? You're not virtue signaling for women by not including a boob slider in the game, because even the women that play video games want boobs on their character. It's just the truth. Like, and if they don't want boobs on their character, they should be able to do that too.
A male character, so I didn't with the sliders too much. I saw
It's a video game. Like, I hate it when people virtue signal on this shit, bro. She's not real. Your character isn't real. Objectifying her does not matter. Huh, you're not offending anyone. Holy shit.
Sliders were there, so I just assumed it'd have a big titty slide.
Tell that to your DK? I'll tell that to your DK when I'm her tonight. That was too far. It's too far. I would have sex with your DK. You can't stop me. You can't stop me.
But apparently, after further inspection, the sliders are really limited.
It proved my point, though. It did prove my point, though. In a very severe way, it did prove my point.
Sorry for that. And 3, my complaint about solo farming being...
And I want to be clear, if anybody wants to have sex with my Dark Knight, it's free. It's open season. Go nuts. You know what I mean?
Being annoying with all the circles going off became a non-issue with better gear and whilst group farming. Other than that, in hindsight, I think it was a good review, but there's a few...
Cuck, that's why there's a chair here.
Few things that I didn't mention that I want to discuss in this video, as well as a few more issues I found with the game's combat that I also want to highlight. But before we get into it, support the content by listening to today's sponsor.
Hi guys, this is the Bangkok.
Shut up! I want Moodin! Shut up! Moodin! Moodin! Moodin!
Yeah, I love
So
RTS
obviously,
games.
if I've put over
StarCraft
200 hours
fan.
into a game within a month, it means that overall I'm enjoying the game. But I'm enjoying Throne.
I don't understand how people have this many hours. Like, he's got like 240 hours in a month. There is... Right? Like 720, 240 divided by 720. And so 33.3% of his time. So literally a third of his life is just playing the thing. Keep in mind how much of his life is just like editing and making content, guys. Like, I don't understand. Like, holy shit.
Throne, despite its numerous issues, of which there are many. If the devs can fix all of the issues I'm going to mention in this video, then I think Throne would be a very good MMORPG. I guess part of the reason I'm continuing to play
It is a very good MMORPG, just to be clear. In present tense, it would be better.
is in hopes that the game does improve. I'll provide my feedback, give the devs a chance to cook, and see what happens. Odds are this feedback will fall on deaf ears though, so I do encourage other content creators to make their own version of this vid.
This is my version of the vid. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And I don't think that, I'll be honest with you, he's jaded because if you guys remember, Lazy Peon started in Black Deserts. Okay? He's used to developers that don't listen, deaf ears, don't give a shit. Like Lazy P who? Okay? Like they don't give a shit. These developers are completely different. The Throne of Liberty developers have shown that they listen to the community. They're very in touch with what the community wants, and they're working on it in real time. They get that feedback, immediately start working on it. We have it the next patch. I don't think that this falls on deaf ears, but let's see what he has to say.
Title it something like 10 things Throne and Liberty needs to improve or something. I don't know. But
Nope, there it is.
before we get into the negatives, let's start by discussing the positive experiences I've had with Throne since my initial review. First of all, I got to experience riding the giant sky whale with hundreds of other players. I had to do this
Okay, the best part about the Sky Whale was, let's be honest, watching everyone miss the jump. Okay, I know it's sadistic, and I know I'm a horrible person, but watching everyone completely bungle the jump and watching like thousands of players fall to their death was just the best shit I've seen in an MMO. Oh my god, bro. You're actively rooting against them. I mean, it's just so funny. I felt like the Joker, and here we go.
a few times as taking it was the only way to unlock the Saradoma Island waypoint. I made a Twitter post about it at the time, but it was so epic seeing hundreds of players come together and hang out whilst chatting for the 20 or so
By the way, when you guys are on Back of the Whale, there's things that you can mine, and you should absolutely do those because they're really good.
minute journey.
They're like instanced for you.
Fortunately, as Saradoma Island had only just unlocked, about 70% of us mistimed the jump and we fell to our death without getting the waypoint. This whale only comes once every 3 hours.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Watching everyone fall to their death was crazy.
So I had to come back the next day and try again. I love it when MMOs create spectacle content that brings hundreds of players together.
You can't really fall to your death. Really? Is that so?
I love it when MMOs create spectacle content that brings hundreds of players.
What is it you would say he's doing right now? He's out of stamina. He's given up on life. Let's watch his descent into madness.
Together. This is
Yeah, do you think that he made it? He's like, I hate this game.
something that Throne does very well in multiple forms of content, from the whale to rift stones and conflict world bosses. Speaking of conflict world bosses, these can sometimes get absolutely crazy, with multiple guild alliances all fighting each other, literally hundreds of players fighting over a boss. The spectacle of it is incredibly cool, but it definitely has a lot of issues, which I'll discuss
Is this colorblind mode? Why are all of his allies orange?
later. So far though, my favourite content of all has been the guild vs guild riftstone fights. The max
I think that everybody can agree if you get a good guild versus guild Riftstone and Boonstone fight, those are generally the best PvP that you're going to get. It does feel kind of bad when you lose those. So my favorite PvP in the game is typically the world boss fights, because there's an objective you're fighting over. It's the whole alliance working together. You get like a grandiose feel, but I'm the shot caller, so like maybe I'm you definitely have a much more impact over your party and stuff in the Rift Boonstone fights. But I like the conflict world bosses. Kind of a hot take.
Maximum size of these
like the most.
70 versus 70, assuming that everyone from both guilds is online, so you don't suffer from the issue of zergs like you do with the open world content.
It's hard to find fights. You're not finding fights. Everyone just sits on their Rift and Boonstones. That's it. There's nothing else to be done. Like you just sit there. Nobody that can't beat you is going to challenge you. That's why Rift and Boonstones are never going to be pretty successful content, because you're allowing people to select their opponents in this case. And like, no one is ever going to select a guild that's actually close to them. They're just going to take the free, easy win. You know what I mean?
Conflicts content. It was actually
we saw this in Node Wars too for BDO.
Experiencing this with my guild for the first time that fully hooked me into Throne. I've always been a large-scale PvP enjoyer for the spectacle, and there's something epic about listening to your shot caller shout commands as two armies clash.
That's me!
The fantasy of being a soldier in an army and going to battle is one of the biggest reasons why I play MMORPGs.
And I like to be the general. I'm the general in that fantasy.
On the smaller scale side of things, I've also had a lot of fun going into open world dungeons alone at night time and just fighting with anyone I see. Sometimes I get absolutely wrecked, and other times I get some pretty cool 1vx fights. This is another feature of Throne.
1vx fights. This dude is, what is he, Greatsword SNS? He never dying, bro. He outgears the shit out of these people.
The Ashes of Creation is supposed to have. I think Throne takes a nice balanced approach to it though, with PvP only being enabled 20% of the time, only when it's nighttime. So with the positives out of the way, let's talk about the additional negatives and potential issues I see for the game going forward now that the honeymoon phase is over. Let's talk endgame. There's really not a whole lot of content for small guilds of say 20 to 40 players.
Correct.
You've got your daily guild bosses, but that's about it. Perhaps some Riftstones and Boonstones should have a hard cap of say 20 to 30 players to allow smaller guilds to stand a chance. Or just...
That's an interesting thought. I like that. I do like that. That's like Node Wars being like, 30 man. What were the best Node Wars in Black Desert? 30 man Node Wars. I think that, ooh, dude, like 30 man Rift Boonstones might go kind of hard, bro. Those might go kind of hard. And he's right. They would serve a purpose. You know what I mean? Like other guilds could actually participate and still have it, instead of having to giga sweat and constantly bring 70 people to every single Rift and Boonstone. You can relax a little bit and have like 30 man attendance. You know what I mean? That would be a way better. He's absolutely right. Like constantly having to sweat, even if it was like a 50 man Boonstone, Riftstone, or a 60 man, it would be better, because like then you're not requiring everyone to be at their computer all the time, and communities can actually develop instead of cycling people constantly.
Just design some new content catering to this smaller group size, because at the moment you've got super small scale arena or full on large scale with nothing in between. Another issue I can foresee, which is already starting to be a problem, is guild mega alliances killing servers. Even though the official guild alliance limit is set to 4 guild alliances, many...
Oh yeah, so this is a problem. People think that Ethereum is an issue, when the real issue is what he's about to show here.
Guilds are getting around this limit by marking additional allies as hostile. The instruction is then given to only attack white and pink nameplates.
Correct. So you have 8 to 12 guilds in like the same mega alliance, all agreeing not to hit each other and farming the boss and not letting anyone else do it. And there's just no chance of beating that. And that is a serious issue. That's a serious problem. So like, destroying the 4 guild alliance system isn't going to fix that issue, because these are handshake guild issues. I think that maybe if you just removed being able to turn people into hostile guilds, but then that has problems in and of itself. So
you're not...
He's playing in such an alliance. Is he though? Because it looks like he only has 4 guilds. Well, maybe he is. Who knows? I don't know.
Supposed to attack the orange hostile marked
I don't know what server he's on.
players. This is obviously the game being played by the community in an unintentional way, but on my server it's resulted in 2 mega alliances forming of over 1,000 players on each side.
Oh, so yeah, he is in a... Yeah. And to be clear, that's all you have to do. They have a mega alliance. Okay, we have to make a mega alliance. That's all you can do.
Conflict world bosses are a mess because you end up attacking allies. You don't know who's who. It's just a dog shit experience. A problem that's been created by the community by deciding to create large zergs, or feeling like they have...
I wouldn't put it entirely on the community. Is it on the community? Absolutely. In this case, 50% of this is on the community. But 50% of this is also on the developers, because you know that when you design a system like they've designed conflict world bosses, this is going to happen. And they should have, like, there should be ways to get around this, right? Like, they should have implemented systems to prevent this from happening.
no choice but to join a Zerg alliance to get loot.
I wish we had that against Ethereum. If you tried to Zerg Ethereum Gold and Sapphire and Onyx and whatever, if you tried to Zerg the Ethereum guilds with 8 guilds, you realize they could just bring 2 more guilds. Right? That doesn't solve the problem. In the short term, sure. But like, they're just gonna even it back out.
I'm not sure how the devs could fix this one. Perhaps the only way would be to remove the hostile guild feature, as this is what guilds are abusing to identify additional allies, when the intention of the hostile guild system is that it's used to fight enemy guilds in the open world.
Oh, I see. So they're... Oh, okay. So they're recognizing enemy guilds as hostile. So they mark them as hostile. You can only have 3 alliance guilds other than your own guild, so 4 total. And then they're using hostile guilds to recognize people that are also on their team. And then everyone that is not marked hostile and an alliance is an enemy. That's crazy, bro.
Me and Cannon discussed this.
Do you need a big guild to enjoy Throne, or can you enjoy the game as a small guild? I'm trying to see if I want to invest my time. You can absolutely enjoy it as a casual player, if that's what you're asking. You're not going to be crazy competitive. You're not going to be competitive in like the open world, like PvP stuff, but you can enjoy basically all the aspects of the game though.
Issue on his recent podcast, and we couldn't really think of any good suggestions. Either way, I think the devs need to do something to ensure that players can't find any sneaky ways to go beyond the 4 guild alliance cap. The game just stops working, and fights aren't even fun when it's devolved into who has the biggest Zerg. And finally, botting. Lots of bots have started to pop up. Some of them are in top guilds, botting for guild rank. The Chinese guilds on my server, called Watt and WD, are notorious for this. They need
Really?
to be permabanned ASAP. Next, I'm just going to list every...
That's crazy, bro. That's insane. I don't think we have that problem, as far as I'm aware. I don't see botting on Cherno. Chinese players botting? What? Yeah, I know. What a crazy idea. What crazy. People have accused Ethereum of botting events, but I have not personally seen any video evidence or anything of them botting an event. But like, he definitely just name dropped the shit out of those 2 guilds. I'd love to see name drops. I'd love to see evidence. I don't like accusations without evidence, but also botting is an issue in Throne. But like, they did 2 ban waves or 3 ban waves. Like, they're kind of jumping on the bot thing, bro. As long as they stay on top of it, I think we'll be fine.
everything wrong with the combat in Throne, because there's even...
I was on Cherno. There's a ton of bots before I quit. No. We're talking about botting in a guild for guild activity points, not bots. Yeah, of course there were a ton of bots. There's bots on every server. But like, they banned a lot of them. But he's talking specifically about people that are recruiting bots to their guild to farm guild activity points, if that makes sense. And I haven't seen much of that.
more stupid design that I've discovered since my previous review. Number 1, you cannot make raid groups in Throne. Despite being a large-scale PvP game, you're limited to 6 player groups with...
So true. There needs to be platoons. At least 20-man platoons. This 6-man party system is ass. I hate this. There needs to be 20-man platoons every single time. Holy shit, that would be so much better. I cannot believe we have a 6-man party system only.
without the option
24, 20. I don't give a f. Just give me
to
more.
combine those groups into a raid.
Copy
This
arcade.
makes it very
Whatever.
difficult for healers to target heal players out of their party, as they need to manually click people.
I went to Sardoma Island last night to farm contracts with my bot friends named IGGJ, and there was no one around, and I didn't know what to do with my life. Get your contracts done. Who's saying that was a bot? You know what I mean? Like,
Or use astral vision, and shot callers also can't get a good overview of the health of their guild during battle.
yeah, that's the biggest thing is as a shot caller, it's really tough to tell who's alive. So like 20-man like raid groups, like he's saying, like platoons, would be incredibly impactful for world boss PvP, and just like large scale PvP in general would be amazing.
Number 2, the range at which you're tab targeting targets is way too short. When you enter the PvP arena, for example, you need to click target your enemies out of the gate because they're too far away for you to tab target.
Fair.
Number 3, if you enter the PvP arena with 20% health, you're not automatically healed to full. You'll start the arena match with that level of health. What the
Also true. I've not done arena at all because I'm a healer and I don't think that my build allows me to do anything. But like, he's right about that. What the f? Like, that is madness.
Number 4, interacting with the mage after dying to remove your after death effect also doesn't heal you to full health when it really feels like it should. Number 5, your character
I don't like doing that. Like, it just seems like a repetitive task for almost no reason. Whacked Gaming with a brand new T1 sub, buddy. Nothing makes me wetter than a new sub. Thanks, man. We don't want anybody to slip. Let's be careful. All right.
character cannot move mid-air whilst jumping like WoW, Guild Wars 2, and
Yeah, so people keep complaining about this. You can't move midair while jumping shit. And people commented on my video when I criticized the guy. You can move midair while jumping. I just don't... Like, I guess when I play hardcore WoW this coming month, I guess I'll understand what they're doing. But, like, I guess it's just poorly stated. Because, like, you can move while jumping in any direction that you want. And so, like, I don't really understand what that's about, but you can't change directions midair. Oh, I see. Yeah, whatever. That's kind of a nitpicky thing. That's like, whatever. Okay, sure. That's a much better way of saying it. Thank you, chat. Classic chat W. You know, for as many times as I call you guys morons. W.
number of
Way better way of saying it.
other MMOs that have more fluid feeling movement. Sure, this is realistic, but it's not fun, and it contributes to general movement feeling clunky. Number 6, your character movement speed slows down when auto-attacking. So if it's melee fighting melee, and one character just runs away without auto-attacking, they'll run out of range of your attacks, causing you to auto-run towards them. As melee, this makes it very hard to stay on top of your target. Other MMOs don't have this. Number 7, what
I don't know, because I feel like the game is balanced around that exact feature. Like, they want it to be hard for melees to get on top of their targets and catch them like that. But, like, I can't see how it's super frustrating as melees, but, like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of balance changes that they'd have to do to make it so that you just, like, it's a simple fix, right? Like, you just no longer lose speed while you're hitting somebody, but then it would also not be possible really to kite people in a meaningful way.
What makes my previous point feel even worse is that melee attack range in Throne is half that of something like World of Warcraft, which is a lot more lenient.
Fair.
You really need to be on top of your target to hit them. Throw in a bit of movement and a bit of ping, and attacking a moving target as melee just feels atrocious compared to other MMOs. Number 8, to attack other players in PvP, you first need to tag them with an auto attack.
Is that true? Because I can click on players in PvP and target them without hitting them with an auto attack. So I don't think that that's true. But it is, if you're running in from outside of there's actually a bot fighting in his party. Guys, pro tip, don't name your player dumb shit. Okay? This is not a good idea. to just smash your forehead against the keyboard and then use that name, because you're probably going to get banned. Bought the account probably? Dude. That's insane. That's crazy. It's in his party, guys. Like, it's in his party. Now, I will say that you do have to, like, basically click on somebody and wait a few seconds when running in from a non-combat zone to a combat zone. There are issues with that whole system, but, like, I don't feel like I need to auto-attack somebody before I hit them. I can definitely cast a skill.
This feels especially bad in GVG content such as Rift Zones, and feels even worse for melee. Number 9, crowd control in Throne has a lot of RNG to its design. Sometimes you can just lose 1v1s due to your stuns not landing. Definitely not fun for the people who enjoy small scale PvP. Number 10, for one of the PvP arenas you need to enter via a grapple hook.
He lost HP. The fall damage in this game is way too punishing. They lost HP for not turning into a bird after the grapple.
Sometimes your flight form bugs out and you'll lose 20% of your health as full damage right at the start of an arena.
Funny.
Absolutely lovely. Number 11. There's a common bug with charged and casted abilities where if you reach max cast and your target goes out of range, you'll sometimes have the cast stuck at max and prevent you from using other abilities. To fix this bug, you'll need to dodge roll out of it, but it'll often get you killed in the middle of a PvP fight. Number 12, if you guild summon under bridges or tight areas, players will spawn inside of the terrain and get stuck. 13, I think the dodge roll and block being on the same button not only feels clunky, but it also feels awful in certain encounters where you need to quickly move to a location, then block.
I didn't even know there was a dodge roll.
Of the tower
over 200 hours in the game, didn't even know there was a dodge roll.
Bosses is a good example of this. 14. There's no buffer range for casted abilities if your opponent moves slightly out of range like WoW and most other MMOs have. I mentioned this in my previous video. 15. There's too many unnecessary animation locked abilities.
Oh my god, dude, we're at number 15 on the negatives. He had like 3 pros, and like now we're just, bro, the cons are insane.
16. There's a lot of AoE abilities that feel like they should be castable without a target that aren't. 17. Almost every mobility ability will have the player get stuck on the smallest rock or slight terrain elevation. Abilities such as Precision Dash, the Mage Blink, and Shield Rush especially suffer from this. 18. Forward movement abilities will sometimes dash you backwards even if you've got the mouse pointing forward.
See, I knew it wasn't just me, bro. I knew it wasn't just me. Look at where his mouse is. He's basically just moving the mouse up and down right here.
This is because trees and leaves are considered collidable objects. So if you run underneath a tree, a bridge, or there's something above you and you try and dash, odds are you're dashing backwards. Your dash direction should really be dictated by the position of your mouse on the screen relative to your character, but it isn't. 19. Other MMOs allow you to use your mobility abilities to dash over gaps, but in Throne you cannot do this. Your character just stops at the edge. 20.
I just hate the grapple shit. So my character can turn into an animal, birds, wolves, etc., but I can't go up a slight incline unless there's a grapple. That's really frustrating. That's really annoying. And like in other games, you can absolutely just Skyrim your way over a mountain if you want to, but not in Throne.
Targeting in this game is visually awful. The target indicator just blends in with the nameplates, especially in large-scale PvP. 21. In some PvE encounters, the Q block timing is actually different to the reality of when you need to block. There's 2 bosses in the tower, for example, that if you block when the game tells you to block, you'll get stunned. You actually need to delay the block until after the circle, which feels incredibly inconsistent from what the game teaches you from the start.
That's a fair complaint.
22. The camera zoom in effect upon exiting Flight Morph is horrible. 23. Devastating smashes.
I think the flight morph is made more bad because the fall damage is like giga punishing, and like so having to jump off, turn into a bird, and then hit the ground and like turn into a human is kind of clunky for sure. But again, this all has to do with like the grapple mechanic also being ass.
is a bugged ability, as it can be cancelled with the Q block to be an instant ranged AoE stun with no counterplay.
What?
Additionally,
wait, whoa, let's back up. Wait, whoa, what?
23, Devastating Smash is a bugged ability, as it can be cancelled with the Q block to be an instant ranged AoE.
Huh. Well, this shit's cooked. Whoa. You don't get Q damage, or you don't get fall damage if you Q block before hitting the ground. I know. But even still,
AoE stun with no counterplay. Additionally, Devastating Smash doesn't allow you to jump from high ground to low ground when really it feels like it should. 24, Flash Wave and Tornado sometimes don't follow the contour of the terrain, causing it to miss targets above and below.
Flash Wave, dude. Look at the AoE on this ability. What are we talking about?
Low ground
the
when
only
really it
thing,
feels like it should. 24.
The only thing that saves players from this ability is that sometimes the terrain
Flash Wave and Tornado
helps you the out. You know what I mean? Like, this goddamn ability. It's like a goddamn highway you're dropping on someone's face. Like, how in the do you miss this? You know what I mean? And they can cast it 2 times in a row. Like, this is large scale PvP. You run up, you get a sleep bomb, and then you just carpet bomb them with flash waves until they die.
Sometimes don't follow the contour of the terrain, causing it to miss targets above and below. 25, the grapple hook feels inconsistent, clunky, and locks you in animation, yet it's implemented in so many encounters. 26, general movement throughout the world in Travel Morph is buggy at times, especially in bumpy terrain. You'll get stuck on pixels, get desynced back and forth, and it's hard to tell what rocks you can and cannot jump on. Siluce's Abyss, 6th floor, is a good example of a place with shit terrain that you'll always desync on. And 27, there's no option to RP walk in Throne.
Addressing the real issues that players have with Throne and Liberty right here, guys. This is truly the boob slider and then no RP walking is really, I think, what a lot of players struggle with in Throne. Also, no transmog. That's frustrating too.
Why? Every MMO allows you to RP walk except this game. Let me walk, damn it. Overall, Throne of Liberty is a game that I really want to see improve. There's things this game does that I absolutely love.
No, transmog is a pretty big L. It is actually a big L. I think that your character would look a lot cooler if you had things like transmog.
Such as the open worlds, the
Video can RP walk? Of course it can.
massively multiplayer spectacle moments, and the giant open world dungeons, but there's also some things that I absolutely hate, such as the long list of things I mentioned earlier. Like I said,
Dude listed like 27 cons of the game. Actually crazy. All very fixable problems though.
it'd be cool to see other content creators make feedback videos like this to hopefully get through to the devs and improve the game. Also, leave your comments below this video on things that you would like to see improved too. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, then
I think that the biggest thing that people could improve on for TNL is, he mentioned it in there, having lower caps on Rift and Boonstones. So like Rift and Boonstones you can have Rift and Boonstones with 70-man caps, 60-man caps, 50-man caps, and like 30-man caps or whatever, right? This would allow more guilds to get involved in Rift and Boonstones, like in general, and you wouldn't necessarily have to be a crazy hardcore guild and constantly sweat and bring 70 people always to the engagement. I think that was the best suggestion he gave, in my opinion. The boob slider is the biggest upgrade. Well, I did comment on the dev note about that. The boob slider is kind of required. Absolutely ridiculous. There's the video right there, guys. Lazy Peon with some good takes on Throne and Liberty lately.